Okay, listen up. I know what some of you are thinking now, lads. Casablanca, isn't that some old black and white romance movie my grandparents watched, maybe? Why would you waste your time on it, right? When, like, you could be watching something else, right? Now, lads, you gotta stop you there. Casablanca, yeah, okay, I'm trying to pick out movies for both men and women here, and I hope I'm doing a good job, and look, we all have our different opinions, so I'm sure not everybody's going to agree with me on all movies, for God's sake. But, men should watch this movie. Now, this would be inclined to be a court towards the ladies, of course. But if you want to know what a real man is, you gotta watch this movie, man. Because this man is one of the most badass guys ever. It's got war-torn setting, political intrigue, gangsters, backstabbing. It's got a reluctant hero and a love story kind of so brutal, so macho that it makes Titanic look like a middle school crush, man. And let's be real, if Bogart was around today, oh, Jesus, he'd be playing Batman, James Bond, all the John Wick characters at all the same time. This guy was a badass, man. And yeah, that is a classic. It's the kind of classic that even the toughest, most hard-boiled guys need to see what real men were like. And if you don't, well, you never truly understand what it means to be a man. So what's the deal with Casablanca? Alright, well, let's set the stage. It's in the early 1940s, and the world's at war. The Nazis are spreading like a goddamn disease. There's one place where people from all over, spies, refugees, criminals, are gathering, trying to escape to freedom. That place? Casablanca, baby. A city of secrets, danger, desperation, and in the middle of it all, running the hottest nightclub in town, is the ultimate tough guy, Rick Blaine. Now, Rick isn't your usual hero. He's not some shining noble knight. No, 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 no. Rick is the kind of guy who sits in the corner of a smoky bar, drink in hand, staring into the abyss like he's been through too much. Because he has. He used to be a fighter, a rebel, a man who believed in causes. But something broke the guy. And it's fascinating seeing the tough guy broken. His heart is cracked into pieces. And that something has a name. Ilsa Lund. And guess what? She just walked back into his life. Now you see, Rick and Ilsa, they weren't just a couple. They were in love, lads. I'm not the let's hold hands in the park kind of love. I'm talking about the once in a lifetime ride or die, burn the world down around you for the kind of love. They had it all until they didn't. And because just when they were supposed to escape together, just when Rick thought he'd found his happy ending, vanished. Ilsa gone. No note, no explanation, just heartbreak. And when Rick got on that train alone in the pouring rain, something inside him died, man. And that's why when we meet him in Casablanca, he's cold, bitter, detached. He doesn't stick his neck out for anyone. Not anymore. But now, Ilsa's back and she ain't alone. She's with Victor Laszlo, a war hero. Yeah. Freedom fighter, a man who the Nazis desperately wanted dead. And she needs Rick's help. Oh yeah, here we go. The woman who shattered his heart in front of him, begging for his help to save another man's life. So what does he do? Does he help her? Or does he let his pain win? And here's where Casablanca gets insanely good, lads. Rick doesn't just roll over. No. He plays the long game. He's smart, calculating. He keeps everyone guessing. The Nazis, the corrupt cops, even Ilsa. And this is what makes him such a badass, man. Because even when the heat is on, when men are dying, when the world is literally falling apart, Rick never loses his cool. He owns the room. He outsmarts everyone. And when people try and push him around, he pushes back. Like when Major Strasser, the slimy Nazi officer. I'm trying to keep an eye on the scenes that I'm showing you here, lads. For some reason, I don't want to give away too much today on this one. You know, I'm just going to give you just any sort of random scenes here. But Rick, Rick barely even looks at him. He just smirks and sips his drink. Or when the corrupt police captain Renault tries to pull both sides, Rick outsmarts him at every turn. The man is untouchable. But then things get personal because Ilsa finally tells him the truth. She never left him because she wanted to. She left because she had to. She was already married to Victor. She thought he was dead, but when she found out he was alive, she couldn't leave him behind. And suddenly Rick has to make the hardest choice of his life. So this is it, the final moment. Ilsa and Victor, they got a chance to escape to Casablanca. They've got one shot. And Rick, well, he's not the only man that can make it happen. But here's the thing. Ilsa wants to stay. And she's looking at Rick, tears in her eyes, because she still loves him. And he loves her. But Rick lets her go. He doesn't fight for her. He doesn't beg. He doesn't run away with her because he knows that some things are bigger than just him. Victor needs her. The world needs Victor. And so in one of the most macho legendary movies in film history, Rick puts his own happiness to the side and makes sure Ilsa gets on that plane, even though it kills him, even though he'll never see her again. And as the plane disappears into the night sky, Rick turns to Captain Renault, delivers one of the most famous lines in movie history. Louis, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. I think we've all heard that one, right? And just like that, he walks into the fog. He walks into the fog. Alone, cool as hell, because that's what men do, man. So why is Casablanca too good to miss? It ain't just romance. It's a story about sacrifice, about war, power, survival. Maybe a lot of you can relate to this in your lives, that you have to give up something or do this or do that. A man has everything taken away from him and still finds a way to stand tall. It's about making the tough choices, the ones that hurt, the ones that defy us. And most of all, it's about being the kind of guy who, even when life punches him in the gut, gets up, dusts himself off and keeps moving forward. That's Rick Blaine, man. And if you don't want to watch Casablanca, you're missing out, lads. You know, you really are. You really are. It's a macho character, one of the greatest to ever grace the screen. Do yourself a favor. Pour yourself a whiskey. Put on a suit, dim the lights if you're one of the lads, and watch Casablanca. And ladies, well, hey, you're just going to love this man if you haven't seen this movie. Because some movies entertain. Then there's movies like Casablanca, man. They teach you how to be a legend. Peter. Wow.